Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the pre-race talk show, episode 7, as we preview the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, also known as Imola to you and I. I don't think anyone would like to call it Emilia-Romagna, but that's the actual Grand Prix name in real life. We're the second half of the season, and we're starting to get closer to be finding out our champions for all 3 tiers. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me, as per usual, we didn't think he was going to make it, but he made it with 10 minutes to spare. It is Colin R. Mason. Colin, how you doing?
Hi, Jess. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And here we are at probably one of my favourite circuits on the whole calendar.
Yeah, I have to say, I was doing a bit of practice yesterday, Cole, and I thought I was going to hate it, considering what I experienced at the opening game cycle. But I've been loving it the more you get into it, because you can attack the curbs a bit more. But Imola is a track where if you like your medium downforce circuit, you're going to love this one. The last few tracks, Carl, we saw the low downforce tracks. We saw Belgium. We saw the last track we were at, which was Baku. We even saw Monza, where if you liked low downforce, it suited you. But if you didn't like it, like me, it did not suit you. So this is a track where it's going to suit more people than not, I think.
Yeah, exactly that. It's also quite a difficult circuit to overtake as well, which is one of the reasons why we're seeing a less engine and gearbox penalties this week. So I think it's one of those tracks that does tend to have quite a lot of incidents due to the fact it is so difficult to overtake. So it's going to be a lot about staying out of trouble as well as outright pace.
Yes, indeed. And penalties, I think we saw a massive factor last year, I think, with plenty of drivers going lower down the field and drivers scoring well if they got no penalties. It's going to be like a Canada situation where we saw people gain because of that. So it will be interesting. But without further ado, to give us a rundown of what the lap is going to be like around Imola, we're going to take you through a hot lap. It's not done by the usual person, because unfortunately Axlock is not very well. He must have caught his brother's bug or something. But Axlock, get better soon. He's more than likely not going to be racing tonight. But rest up. Someone else was able to do a hot lap, and here it is. Welcome along to round number 7 of the One Hub Racing Championship as we head to Imola this weekend. This lap is sponsored by Sim Racing Setups. Tamburello chicane, you'll be braking just after the 100 metre board. Turn 2 is the first braking point. You'll be going down into 4th or 5th gear. Clip both apex curves, but avoid riding them too much, because otherwise you'll end up in a spin. You'll be heading towards turn 4 and 5 now. Villeneuve chicane, a slight lift, attack the inside curve. It's tempted to brake late, but make sure you need a clean exit for the run down into Tota, 3rd gear on entry there. Prioritise a clean full throttle exit, because traction is very tricky as you enter the next corner of turn 9 of Piratella. Another medium speed corner. Brake lightly and keep the car stable over the crest. And now you'll be entering one of the most trickiest parts on the circuit at Minerali. Brake hard into 4th gear, carry the speed in and immediately accelerate uphill. Traction is very critical through there. And now heading towards the variant older chicane of turns 14 and 15. You can attack the curves a lot more on this game compared to F1 24. And now you're going to be burning that battery all the way up to 10% into Rabatza now. 3rd gear in the first part, and then 4th gear on the second part. Watch your speed, watch your traction, because otherwise you'll get some wheel spin. And that is a lap around Imola. Of course, that was a track Max Verstappen won one of his races this season, and he did quite well at. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of hints, especially for the P3 lot, on how to race and do a lap around this circuit. But speaking of P3 drivers, let's speak to this lineup that we got here at the moment. Pretty much, obviously, no new drivers, but last week, you witnessed a great fight towards the end, Carl, between Burjax and Jacob. I have to say, if I'm picking my title contenders, it has to be one of those two now.
Oh, it really does. I mean, what an astonishing end to a race. I've never, ever commentated on a race like that, ever. It was absolutely brilliant. Just a 10th in it as they crossed the line. That's all it was. So what's that? That's like probably 5-10% ERS. Maybe not even that. That was really the difference. Yeah, an astonishing ending to the race. Jacob just sneaking it against Burjax right at the end.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Of course, you needed that straight line speed, and with drivers like Jacob, who did well in the medium downforce circuits like Silverstone when it was wet, he's going to hope probably for a wet race because it is going to have similar conditions, of course. Burjax, maybe not. But it's hard to tell who's going to do well here due to the low downforce circuit. Of course, we saw your dad, Cole, do very well in the pre-season race around Hungary, and he was pretty decent around Silverstone in the dry part. But you were speaking to him earlier on. He doesn't like Imola because you can attack the curves a lot more, as we were saying earlier.
Yeah, that's one of Dad's weaknesses a little bit is circuits where you have to ride the curbs, where it gets a bit unsettled. It's not really one of Dad's strong points. That's one of the reasons why he is so good at Silverstone, because you don't really attack the curbs. Not really. There isn't really any curbs that you go and try and clamber over. I think for Dad might be wishing for some rain at this circuit then, if that's the case.
Yeah, I think quite a few people in their pre-race interviews were wishing for rain, and I think we saw a few people in the chat, like Quinn, Morgan. Mikey said he wants a dry race so Morgan could cry his eyes out. Surely you want to help each other win the championship, so I don't think you should really say that, but there we go. There's been quite a few wet races this season, and I think if we do have a wet race, it's going to be down to the more experienced drivers that are going to be probably climbing up to the top. But it was unfortunate, Cole, to see Matthias pretty much get involved in an incident which ended his really great point streak.
Yeah, it's a real shame because he was really in the hunt. He's still in the hunt, so he's still in fourth place. He's only 6 points behind Mason, who's in third place, and only 12 points behind Burjax in second. But yeah, that certainly didn't help his charge. So Matthias obviously getting a 15 place grid penalty, so he will be starting near the back as well, which around Imola is not ideal.
No, definitely not. I think quite a few drivers, we'll go on to P2 in a minute, have got penalties as well. It was in the stewards report, so it gives you a rough idea, and that's not going to be good for people that don't like overtaking. And I know with a track like Imola, you want to be starting at the front, but nowhere near the middle or the back. That's where the chaos is going to ensue as well. But if you were to pick a top three, I know who's going to be two of them, Carl, but pick a top three, who would it be for tonight?
Oh, do you know what? I think Burjax is going to be out there for revenge after last week. So I'm going to say Burjax, then Jacob, and then I think I'm going to go Miles, actually. Kinne's been driving very, very well, but I think Miles might be able to get his first podium of the season.
Honestly, oh yes, that's one driver that I forgot to mention. Miles, he's had an astonishing start to the season. He's new to league racing. He's got used to everybody in the league as well. He started off a bit slower as we were doing practicing, but the more races he's done, he's just got better and better, and the thing that he liked is that consistency, which is really, really, really great to see. I'm liking Miles' progress at the moment. I know he's in the chat, so I know he loves me mentioning him at the moment, but there's certain drivers in P3 I started off like this, where the aggressiveness is not showing yet. They're not comfortable doing battles, but as soon as they get used to the league and the drivers, do you think they're going to be more confident going side by side?
I would say so. You can see that as we're going through the season, drivers are starting to become a little bit more aggressive, and because it's getting to the point now where they have to, because we're starting to get into the meaty end championship now, and they could see, I've got a chance here now of potentially winning the championship or getting a top three and taking home a trophy at the end of the season. So I think you're going to start to see drivers get their elbows out a bit more.
I think so as well. And I know people have not asked me about who that we think is going to do well. I think, obviously, I think Burjax is going to win this one. Jacob in P2. And I'm going to go for a bold one here. I'm going to go for Quinn. I think Quinn's going to redeem himself tonight because he was involved in an incident that, if you looked at the steward's report, it was not his fault. He's been looking good in qualifying, but I think he could have been up there if he didn't get taken out by Hockey Night. So, which again was an accident. So I really want to see Quinn be up there near the top.
Yeah, poor old Quinn has had horrendous luck the last couple of races. Nothing he could have done to avoid Hockey Night there. That was do, and it cost him a considerable amount of time. And I think he did get rear wing damage as well when he reversed into the barrier, which is easy to do there because it's so narrow. So yeah, hopefully Quinn's luck will change a bit.
And we hope a certain driver that's now in the VC that we're about to be interviewed is also going to have another good race after finishing P4 last week in the other Red Bull car. We would like to welcome a One Hub Racing legend that's been with us for donkey's years, but is back this season. We have to welcome back Gaza Man. Gaza, can you hear us? Gaza? Hello.
He's got AWOL.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. I need to probably try and fix the permissions a little bit, because it might be his permissions. I have no idea. Oh, no, his permissions are fine. So if he could, Gaza may not fancy it. No, Gaza, if you can hear us, if you could try and leave and rejoin, that would be lovely. His mic is playing
Gaza's
up.
gone shy.
Gaza's gone shy. Yeah, his mic's playing up, so he'll probably leave and come back a little bit. It's absolutely fine. Whilst we wait for Gaza to sort himself out, because we know we got quite a bit to talk about in this talk show, let's bring back the P2 tier with another competitive grid. Of course, with the winner has changed from last week. Of course, we saw Larkin cross the line in P1, but Morgan got an unfair 3-second penalty. He got triple warning, basically, coming out of the end of the castle section, which we saw Owen do in P1 as well. So he reported it, and understandably, which was, I think, well-deserved, he got his penalty removed. And if he didn't get his penalty removed, I think we would have been a little bit of an outcry there. So Morgan actually won the race. I think it was his second win, I believe, in the league.
Yeah, second in a row as well. So it's 2 wins on the bounce for Morgan. So he's really dragged himself into the... No. Yeah,
definitely in the hunt for the constructors as well with Mikey. And I have to say, speaking of Mikey, Mikey's performance last week was one of his best performances so far today. He held up the likes of Farja for a little bit as well. He was fighting with the likes of Larkin, the guys you expected to be near the front. I mean, I was a bit surprised why I got Driver of the Day nomination and not Mikey, because it was one of his best races.
Yeah, he drove so well. I remember watching the stream and seeing, he was up there all the time, and he was in the top 3 for a while as well. And he helped his teammate Morgan out as well. So if he can keep that level of consistency, he's going to bring himself, into the fight of the top 3. Because if we just look at the standings, I mean, the standings are so close now. So we got Papa Squanch, who had a bit of a disaster last week, only becoming 11th. His previous races, his worst was 3rd. He had 3 wins in a row, a 3rd, and then 11th. Salo now is only 6 points behind Papa in 2nd place. Larkin only 7 points further back, and then Mikey in 7th on 32, who is having, I mean, for his first season as well, don't forget, this is his first league racing season, and he's doing exceptionally well. He really is. And certainly bringing them back into the hunt of the constructors now. I mean, they gained 19 points on the leaders last week. If they can continue to do that, they're going to be right up at the front.
Yeah, I've got the standings up there on your screen, and I mean, I can't call it between the likes of Morgan, Larkin, Solar, and Papa Squanch now. I think it's going to be up between those two. Farjit had, honestly, a really good race last week as well, and it had I think as well as Mikey, out of all the rookies and Morgan, that he's been one of the strongest, because you wouldn't be expecting him to be up there after what we saw in round one of the season. But he's got 2 podiums in a row. That's very impressive for a rookie.
Yeah, it really, really is. You can see that he's just getting better and better. He's getting used to the game. He's getting used to the competition as well. This season is blatantly going to go down to the wire. And the top 4, I mean, there's nothing separating them, really. And this is where it gets interesting because, you know, I've said it so many times before, but it's so true. Once you start getting to this level, you know, the talent bit helps, but it's all about your bottle at this stage. You know, not making silly errors, not letting the pressure get to you. And which is why my money is still on Larkin at the minute. That's what my money is still telling me.
I'm kind of hoping it's Larkin because he's my teammate.
He's 13 points back, but, you know, when was the last time we saw Larkin make a big error? I mean, it just doesn't happen, you know?
He even said in the interviews last week that he felt like he had a worse season, but after what we saw last week, he said, oh, actually, I'm having a good season. Make up your bloody mind, Larkin. But yeah, honestly, I think this has been the first season in a while, understandably, where I've been actually carried, right, a little bit in the championship. But there we go. Thank you, Larkin. But you can see the constructors now. With Williams making some sort of errors last week, Aston Martin are really starting to close up.
They really are, and it's the consistency of the pair of the drivers, which is what's doing it. And you can see, look, so what's the gap there? So 29 points. That's it. You know, that with so many, yes, absolutely nothing with so many rounds to go. But I mean, I think my money's on the Aston Martin drivers. I think they're going to.
I think so as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they could just keep doing what they're doing, that's the thing. They don't really need that level of consistency. And I know they're in party chats together as well, so they're helping each other with strategy and you know, letting themselves go when the other driver's quicker as well, and it works a dream for them.
I think obviously Morgan has helped Mikey out in terms of pace as well. So they've been practicing during the week, and Mikey's always going to his teammates, so how can I improve here? So with Mikey having an experienced driver helping him out, he's going to improve so much more. So that is very good. And of course, we've got a brand new driver to the league as well, which I know Jake will talk about a little bit later on when we go to the actual grid. But in terms of your predictions for Imola, who do you think is going to be your top 3? And I think it's pretty much going to be the same as previous weeks, but there we go.
I have a sneaky suspicion that it's going to be raining.
I think so
Therefore,
as well.
I'm going to say Cam for the win, then Larkin, and then Salo.
What if it's dry?
If it's dry, I think it's going to be between Morgan and Papa for the win.
Yeah, if it's dry, if it's wet, I think Cam's going to do well. I agree. But if it's dry, he's going to hate me for saying this. I think Salau is going to get his first win. Please. We've been wanting to have his first win in ages, and it'll be a popular victory. He's going to kill me now. Sorry, Salau. But yeah, I want him. I think if it's dry, he's got a very good chance of winning because he likes these type of tracks. So, unless if I'm wrong, but don't quote me if I'm wrong. But there we go. So that is my prediction. And yeah, sorry, Solar for that one. He looked very good last week, didn't he?
He really, really did. I mean, he's been so close to a victory. It's ridiculous. He's had 3 seconds on the bounce, rounds 2, 3, and 4. And of course, he has won a race. He crossed the line first, but the driver behind, which I think was J. Luke,
had an unfair penalty.
Yeah, and I obviously had it removed. So yeah, he's do you know, he reminds me of Mansell at the minute, who went second in championships for so many years, and then eventually got it. And I'm convinced that Salah will get his race victory before the end of the.
I just seen in the chat, maybe Jess jinxing me will counter my constant self-jinxing. Maybe! You never know. And even Morgan was saying that Salah is a menace on this track. So you see, I'm not the only one that thinks that he's going to do well. You see, you got to believe in yourself. And I'm just seeing in the chat, comparing him to Mansell absolutely made his day. Aww.
Especially for me, I tell you that.
Yeah.
Who's got about, I'm just counting, I think I've got 4 Mansell posters, Mansell Lego car, 4 models, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think I know my parents are a big fan of Williams drivers, so that's pretty good. You can tell we're waffling because we're trying to get our P2 driver into the interview room. Hopefully we'll get him actually being interviewed, because we tried it with Gaza and it kind of didn't work because his mic did not work. But hopefully we can get him very, very shortly. But I think Colin should take this one in a minute. But first of all, we got our wet weather specialist. Cam, can you hear us? Please? Cam, you're on mute. This is not working, is it?
There we go.
There we go. Yay!
Hey, there he is.
I need to turn you up a bit. Colin, over to you.
Good afternoon, Cam. How are you?
Morning.
Morning. Oh, it is morning for you, isn't it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's 7:22, so good morning.
So how are you feeling for Imola?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm actually in the middle of some practice right now, and I'm just trying to knock the sleep away. But I mean, I figured I might as well do something. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good. I appreciate the confidence you guys have in me, if it's what.
I mean, I remember we actually raced together season 18 in the rain. I say rain, it was monsoon around Monza. Your pace around there was ridiculous, so fast, and every wet race you've done well. So are you hoping for a wet race today?
I've actually not practiced for the wet.
What?
So, I wouldn't mind if it rained. I do enjoy the rain. It adds like a bit of an extra, not so much a challenge, but it's something new. Because you don't get rain races very often anymore. So it's kind of, if it rains, then okay, cool. But I'm also not too mad about it if it doesn't.
So one final question from myself before I hand over to Jess. So with the remaining races, which one do you think you're going to be at?
Wait, you cut off from me.
What was the end of that?
Which of the remaining races are you going to be, do you think? Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Your mic doesn't like the end of that question.
Well, what track? I think what Colin is trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Carl, what track do you, out of the remaining tracks do you think you're going to be the strongest at? Is that right, Carl?
Exactly that.
Okay, good. I understood you.
Let me find the calendar. Honestly, I think this is gonna sound very patriotic of me, but I think probably Coda.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love Coach on this game.
It's brilliant. I think Cota's one of those circuits that if there's a bit more grass and less concrete, it would be up there with Silverstone and Belgium. It really is a brilliant track. But Cam, you enjoying racing back in One Hub? Because it's been a bit of a while since you raced with One Hub.
Yeah, I don't actually remember why I took a break at the end of the last game. I think I was just kind of a little tired of the F1 grind. But yeah, now that I'm, I guess, back in One Hub, it's like, oh, I've got something to do with my Sundays now.
You kind of missed it towards the end, didn't you? At the end of F124, you kind of saw everyone else racing, and you were like, oh, I want to get back on the track.
Yeah, I signed back up at the end of last season. I was trying to get back in, but the waiting list was too long and the season was too short at that
I think
point.
you did
And
one
then,
race, I think. I think you did 1 or 2 races. I can't remember. Last season, a long time ago. Okay. I got a couple of questions, Cam, if that's okay. Who would you say would be your biggest challenge in terms of positions in the championship? Who would you say you'll be fighting with the most in the remaining 6 races?
I don't mean this to sound personal, but I've been using you, Jess, as like a bit of a barometer.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that.
Because you've improved so much since like the first times we've like trying to find my words. You've improved so much since like we started racing in one hub together. Maybe not in the same tier, but like just in general, you've improved so much that you've improved so much that you're now ahead of me on track most weeks. So I'm kind of like,
apart from Belgium,
I gotta step up my game.
Belgium, you were very good. To be fair, it was in the wet, and Belgium in the wet never goes well. And you in the wet is good. You're pretty much better than me in the wet. Pretty much. I'm looking forward to seeing how you doing now. So it's not nice you picked me there. Much appreciated. And who would you say, since we're the halfway point of the season, who would you say is favourite to win the title in our tier?
Papa Squanch.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, I think most people are going to say that. Why?
Well, barring last week, he's just had so much consistency. He's been a bit of a plug for the rankings. He's been at or near the top of the rankings all season long. And if it wasn't for Jacob down in P3, he would. Well, if it wasn't for Jacob down in P3, and if it wasn't for last week, he would be number 1. So, and no one has really been able to match his consistency, because if we take away last week, he's finished on the podium in every race. And
last week he was a bit unfortunate. I think.
Yeah, he was having some monitor issues.
Yeah, and I think. I don't honestly. I have to be honest here. I don't think he should have done his engine penalty around Baku. Because if he didn't take his engine penalty around Baku, he would have avoided the chaos, and I think he would have probably been up there and fighting for the win, I think. So that's my pick. So, yeah, Colin, any final thoughts?
Just good luck tonight, Cam, and I hope you have a good. Best result so far is 6th, I believe. 5.
Yes, it is 6th. I'm on the standings page, so.
Yay, let's go. You're not on minus points like Iris Finn Mike.
Oh, wow.
The unnecessary Mike shade.
I like winding my co-commentator up for P1. That's good. But Cam, best of luck. Hopefully we'll race each other on track. But if it's raining, you're probably going to be like a million seconds in front of me anyway. So best of luck, Cam.
Thank you. You too, guys.
Right, so that was Cam. And now we were going to go to P1, but hopefully Gaza has fixed his mic issue. He's on his phone now, so we're gonna try and see if we can get him on the line. Gaza, are you there?
Hello?
Hey!
There he is.
It's working now.
15 minutes later, there we go. Of course, for those of you that don't know, Gaza... Sorry, carry on.
I'm sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. We managed to move forward anyway, so it's fine. So, of course, Gaza is well known in the One Hub racing community and is back this season. How have you been finding it? Because, of course, you started in P2, now you're in P3. Seems to be you're coping a lot better being in a lower tier whilst you're finding your feet a bit.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been tough. E2, as you know, we have lots of good drivers. And I just struggled just to keep the pace up throughout the race. I think my Spain time trial time wasn't a natural true pace, I don't think. I think I was just done so many laps. And I think now, that P3, I think I feel more confident now, and I can feel like I can battle in the top 10.
Honestly, I was cheering you on last week. P4 last week around Baku, and I think you were one of the only drivers that hardly made any mistakes last week. Was it a track that you got on well with anyway, or was it just a fluke that you finished in 4th?
I do enjoy the track in Baku. I do feel confident because I'm quite a safe driver. I don't like to make stupid mistakes. But I just like to keep it clean, keep it tidy. And if you make a mistake in Baku, then you could be out of the race. So I kept it clean, no mistakes. And yeah, I've done well in the past. I remember me and Dane Star back in the day had a good race, and a few P2s I think I've had there. So I think I do feel confident around Baku, Singapore, Monaco, and so on. I just feel like it suits my driving style.
Yeah, because I believe you're running no traction control for the first time. How have you been finding that? Because I started to learn that last season, and it's a huge learning curve, isn't it?
It's difficult. What I'm struggling with now is trying to find the balance of pushing the car, but also being like safe. So a few of the top drivers like Bojack and Jacob, and they just seem to have that edge on me that they can find the traction more faster. So it's taking me a bit of time just to not crash and just be careful on the throttle. But I think by the end of the season, I think I'll get there.
Yeah, I think by the end of the season you'll probably be up there chasing for wins. I would expect. Probably not what you would say to me, but there we go. So of course we got Imola this week. How are you feeling about that? Is that a track that you usually like? Because it seems to me it's a bit of a middle ground for you. But do you like it? Does it suit your driving style?
If I'm honest, I'm not too sure because I've not been racing for 3 years, so I've not actually done much of Imola. I think I've done one league race, which was from the last season, before I left. So I've not actually done too much practice on it. So I think I'm going to jump in some practice after the talk show and see what my pace is like. I think it'll be difficult to overtake, but I think if I just keep it clean, stay away from all the drivers, then I should be okay.
Keep it free from penalties as well, because it is a penalty circuit, I have to say on that one. Colin, questions, your turn.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fellow Celt, very well. So, 4th last time out in Baku, like Jess said, and that tremendous drive. You're now knocking on the door of getting podiums. Which of the circuits coming up do you think that's most likely to happen?
I think it's the next week or for next race. I believe it is Singapore.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Let me just get the calendars up. Yes, I think Singapore could be a good track because I think I've had 2 podiums there, or maybe 3 in the past. So I think definitely Singapore, and I always like Austin as well in USA because
everyone loves Austin. I swear, everyone asks me what their favourite circuit is. They always say Austin. It's great.
I think it's because when I won the championship a few seasons ago, I made a double overtake in the last few laps, which basically won me the championship. So I made a double overtake on the second place in the championship, and it was quite close. So I just have good memories of that track. So hopefully we'll keep it up. And I like Brazil as well.
So basically the rest of the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never raced around Qatar too much, so that'll be interesting. I've never done a league race there, so I'm not too sure how I feel on the 12th of October.
Yeah, so you're doing really well, Gaz, to be fair. So you've had 6th, 10th and 4th, always consistently in the points. Where do you think the highest position you can achieve in the championship? So you're sitting ninth, and you're only 22 points off sixth.
Yeah, I think I can challenge for the podium. I think P1 and P2 are definitely out of the window. It depends how the top drivers do. If they make a mistake, I'm hoping to be near to pounds. But people like Bojack, Jacob, they just seem to have that edge right now. But hopefully, me, Jamie, your dad can get off your podiums in the last few races. So it'd be good to see, and Quinn.
Yeah, that would be great. And one final question for me. Weather coming up very shortly. What are you hoping for, dry or wet?
Dry.
Dry.
I'm awful in the way.
Join the club.
It's difficult with no traction as well, isn't it? It's just difficult to push, but also be safe, I think. So yeah, dry would be on my bingo cards tonight.
Well, best of luck to yourself and best of luck to everyone racing tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck to you too as well, and yeah, hopefully some good battles.
Thanks for joining, Gaza. You look after yourself.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you later.
Right, so we finally got to speak to Gada. That was very lovely to speak to the Scotsman, but we need to give P1 a little bit of limelight because we kind of feel bad that we didn't. So here is the P1 tier, and of course, we saw last week quite a close finish as well. Plenty of drivers doing well. Owen, of course, removing his penalty because, again, that was a little bit unfair, but Ben Mills last week, again, he's just showing why he's championship material.
Yeah, he's something else, and Ben. I mean, his pace is astonishing. He doesn't make many mistakes either, to be fair. And he's really, even though he's still in the championship hunt, Jess.
He is. He's fourth in the standings, but bearing in mind he's missed 2 races and he's not going to miss any more after this. So he is going to be doing the rest of the season. So just because he's fourth, I agree, that doesn't mean he's not in a championship hunt. But if you look at the championship stat, I will get it up quickly for you. Hang on a second. There we go. Just look at how close it is. Of course, due to Owen's penalty removal.
It's wild, isn't it?
Kieran is now leading the championship by 1 point to Axelot and Marco. Look at how insane that was. Kieran with an amazing podium last week. Kieran has been up there as well. The lowest Kieran has finished was 6th, and that was in Silverstone.
Yeah, to be honest, there's 2 drivers out of the whole league that really, and it is the top 2, Axlock and Keys. I mean, the improvement that those 2 drivers have had is astonishing, and they're really, really driving well. Looking at the results, consistency, both the drivers, their worst result is 6th, and that's why they're doing so well. Is because they're limiting their bad results. You know, they're making sure they don't make any errors. You can see that Marco's worst result there is 9th. Now, if that 9th was a 6th, he'd now be leading the championship. So it's all going to be very, very tight, but they're all going to have to be very wary of Ben Mills because he is coming back.
Ben Mills is on a venture, I have to say. I was looking at his time trial times, and we know how time trial is a lot slower compared to Grand Prix mode and multiplayer, because with multiplayer you can change around your ERS. Ben, I think, is going to be up there in terms of qualifying. I'm almost certain the top guys like Ben and Callum and Marco and all that, they're going to be in the 1:13s, because I've seen Ben's time trial time. He's done a 1:14.1, 1:14.0, which is just insane. So he's going to be insanely quick when it comes to qualifying as well. Drivers like Casper and Jaco, they could have been up there last week, but they did struggle in terms of instance last week. They could have been up there. There was plenty of other drivers that could have been up there. I think Lukey DNF last week as well. There's just so many other drivers that just could have done a bit better than what we see usually, Cole.
Yes, exactly that. A few drivers have been, involved in unfortunate incidents as well. as Canarmed being one of them, which I think was in Netherlands, where the two McLaren drivers actually came together. No one's fault, just a racing incident after a safety car restart. Casper and myself both had a bit of a disaster last week. Unfortunately, got involved in someone else making a mistake. But this track is so different, requires such a different skill set. I mean, to be honest, if you the last time we raced around here, Senna won, and Senna is blindingly fast around this circuit.
He loves it.
He loves it. My money for today is on Senna.
I think, of course, Senna was his first race last week. He was still adapting to it. Of course, you would pick a worse track to do your first race in the season, and that is Baku. And he's much better at high downforce circuits for Senna. So I agree, Senna could be up there. But I'm still, I think, keeping an eye on Ben Mills to get pole. But I think it's going to be Ben, then it's going to be Marco, then it's going to be Senna. That's going to be my top three, I think. But there are plenty of other drivers that could do well. Of course, Alex got that penalty last week, I believe. He could step it up a little bit. This is turning out to be, I think, multiple drivers that could do well. Of course, you like this track, Cole, as well.
Yeah, I do love this track. I'm hoping that my luck changes a little bit. So the last 3 league races I've done, I've been in front of me and I've had nowhere to go and lose my front wing. So I'm hoping that doesn't carry on to hoping the bad luck in 3s is now ended. But so I'm hoping that I can get certainly a top 10, maybe a top 5.
Top 10, top 5. You heard it here, folks. Colin wants that. Of course, it's the Ferrari's home track as well. And of course, there's going to be plenty of jinxes for myself. Joking. I do not want to do that, of course. But
you don't need to. I can do that on my own.
Yeah, I mean, there's of course other Italian teams like Racing Bulls. I know the Kieran and Casper, I think, are going to be doing potentially quite well here. Of course, depends on what the weather is. Watch out for J-Car. J-Car was a bit unlucky last week. McLaren have got to really step it up, because in the constructors, you can see Racing Bulls are like flying ahead, whereas we've got the likes of Aston Martin, McLaren and Williams a bit closer. The Aston Martin and McLaren need to step it up a little bit, because Kieran and Casper, they're the ones that are the most consistent at the moment on pace. They're both around similar pace, which helps them a little bit.
Yeah, they are really. I mean, you look at the results there. You know, it's pretty consistent. No single digits there. Obviously, in the Callum's missed a couple of races, so that hasn't helped McLaren's championship charge. But Aston Martin there with Chris and Axlock. Chris now with Axlock missing today, potentially missing today because he's unwell of him. Hopefully Chris will get a good result, because if they want to get a good haul of points now, it's all resting on Chris. So hopefully Chris will have a good race today. But at the minute, with Casper and Keys driving so well, you know, it looks like it's going to be very, very difficult to beat them.
And a majority of drivers in all tiers have all taken all their car weaths. I think most people have taken their engine penalties. I think there's only a few that haven't. And we've still got quite a lot to take their gearbox penalties. And speaking of penalties, let's go through them now, as we got a lot less compared to last week, but we still got all 3 tiers that have at least one driver that's taken a gearbox/engine penalty. Of course, you can't take them both. So, starting off with P3, because that's the easiest. No one is taking a gearbox penalty, so that no one's taking a gearbox penalty, but it is Matthias that's taking a engine penalty, which I have to say is quite smart, because starting at the back at Imola may not be too bad, but it's hard to overtake. P2, no one's taking their engine penalty, but Carl, we got 4 drivers taking gearbox penalties.
Yeah, so we've got Mokwe taking his, Mikey taking his gearbox, Larkin is also taking his gearbox, and my fellow Welshman Benjamin is also taking his. So Larkin is going to find it quite difficult. He said before that qualifying isn't really his strong point, but he really needs to pull a good qualifying out, because overtaking around Imola is very, very difficult. It is very DR train with nothing that you can.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm not surprised to see quite a few people in P2 take gearbox penalties. But in P1, we got 2 people taking engine penalties, which is Marco and Curry. We got 2 people taking gearbox penalties. Axelot, but it depends if Axelot is well enough. If Axelot is not well enough, it will more than likely be rolled over to next week. But his teammate Chris is also taking a gearbox penalty as well. So the big guns, Axelot and Marco, are taking car wear penalties. That's going to breathe a sigh of relief for the other drivers that are near their pace.
Yes, exactly that. So poor old Axelot really, he's not very well. So that gearbox penalty might be
rolled over.
Might get rolled over, yeah. But obviously we'll have to wait and see on that. But Marco and Curry, I think Marco's made an error there taking it at Imola. I don't think that's the best circuit to do it. Might be wrong,
definitely not.
But I don't think that's the wisest decision from Marco. And it's little decisions like these that can have a huge impact on the championship. You've seen how close the P1 championship is, just a couple of points between the top 3. So it's, the strategy side of it and the tactics really can make a difference.
I think we saw with J. Cole in Belgium how he managed to take his gearbox, I think it was gearbox penalty, his car wear penalty to absolute perfection. And then the next race, he take another car wear penalty and it didn't go so well. So he went from one extreme to the other. So it's very important that you get it right. And a reminder for those of you that haven't done all your penalties yet, I'm seeing some people in the orange/red already. You must take both your engine and gearbox by the end of the season. If you don't, you'll get a really hefty penalty. But if you run out of laps on your engine, you'll DNF for that race. I'm seeing quite a few people that haven't taken their penalties yet. So we are going to keep a close eye on them. I think a majority of people are taking at least one car wear part, which is good, but there's still some people that haven't taken any. So please remember to do so. I think Max is one of them who's yet to take either of them. So please remember to do so. But it's everyone's favourite part of the stream, Carl. It is weather time. Brief explanation as to how it is going to work for those of you that are new, but I think most people know this by now. But just in case those of you that are new to One Hub Racing, Carl, take it away.
Yeah, so here at OneHub we use an adaptive weather system. So this weather system has various scenarios, clear and cloudy, and we have a list of those scenarios. We'll roll the wheel, that will get selected for that race, and it'll be removed then as a main did for the following races. Done for both qualifying and the race. So we've still got quite a number of scenarios left. There is still, obviously, some rain in there as well, Jess.
There is still some rain. And, of course, we've still got 2 more chances of wet races this season, potentially. So this could be very important. I know there's quite a mixed bag on who wants what weather. And, of course, we'll be practicing that weather combination at 2 o'clock today. So in about an hour and 10 minutes will be the practice time. So cheeky plug for those of you that are available. I will do a post in a few moments time after the stream so you are all aware, but I'll need to post a hot lap first. But anyway, here we go then. Qualifying weather time. I would ask you your thoughts, Carl, but we got stuff to do. Qualifying, it is a clear qualifying session. So breathe a sigh of relief, folks. It is going to be clear for qualifying. How's that going to fare, Carl? It's all going to be about where you are in qualifying, because Imola you can't overtake.
Do you know what? I'm actually quite pleased about a dry quali, because I just love attacking the track. Everyone's done, a fair bit of dry practice. And it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, there should be enough time to do 4 runs well, as we could do the lobby reset. So yeah, that's going to be a relief for some drivers, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. And it's a relief for me as well because I've done probably the most practice around in quali more than anything compared to the race. So we're now going to move to the race scenarios then. And as you can see, well, you can't really see much, but there's going to be, I think, a lot of people that are hoping for wet. What are you hoping for, Carl?
I'd like dry now. I feel as though...
because every time I say much, it goes exact opposite. So here we go.
Yeah,
then.
same here.
The race weather is. I'm gonna close my eyes and open them. Light clouds to overcast to clear. I was a bit worried the last one was gonna be wet, but it wasn't. So there we go. Dry sessions. What a relief for both of us, Carl.
Yes, I think I would have liked some rain in the previous race. But for me personally, I feel as though I got dry pace, so I'm pleased it's dry. And the drivers taking their engine and gear, I would have thought will also be very pleased with that, because of course that means DRS available.
Yeah, DRS is enabled. I think only one DRS zone, I believe, if you look at the race image. So, yeah, I think everyone that's doing it is gonna have a huge relief there. So we are gonna wrap things up, Cole. But before we do that, we're going to have a quick run through of our sponsors. Of course, we've got Next Level Racing that are providing a lot of prizes this season. We've got Sim Racing Setups. You can use a discount code by using the code OneHubRacing at checkout. I've used their Imola setup for practice, and I have to say it's one of their one of my favourite setups of theirs. So it's probably one of the only weeks where I haven't changed too much of the setup. So that's great. And of course, we've got Pure Sim Gear. You can get a pair of sim racing gloves or socks with them, and you can have the discount code. And they're also providing a prize for us this season. Of course, our partners, Vespertine, who are supporting our merchandise, prizes, and also helped with the payment system this season. And finally, to our partners at SimGrid. Without SimGrid, it will be forms and spreadsheets, and it'll be an absolute nightmare, especially for Cam. So, Colin, any final thoughts before we wrap up and have some lunch?
Well, good luck to everyone. Don't forget there will be a session at 2 o'clock for anyone who is in the Discord and the social racing chat. On track.
Yeah, make sure you join us for 2 o'clock for the practice. But for those of you that are not, for P3, it'll be at 4:30 with Nick and Colin, of course. In P2, it'll be at 6 o'clock, where you can catch me on track with Jay, Cole and Jamie in the comms box. And at 7:30, you can catch Colin out there on the track with Nick. And then you got myself and Mike in the commentary box. So thanks for watching. See you at 4:30 for the first stream of the day around a dry Imola. Quite a lot of you will be gutted. Quite a lot of us will be happy. But we'll see you at 4:30 for the P3 tier. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.